What's going on, people? We're here. So now we're going to discover exactly what Caleb's journey was after Tammy left him. And sadly, this is the journey that pretty much resulted to his passing. But you know what though? There were certain things about Caleb in the last season that really annoyed me, because I felt like each time he spoke, he was speaking from a place that just wasn't realistic. And I still get that vibe right here, right now. And it's crazy because, respectfully, nobody really wants to sit here talking about, the dead in such a negative way. But as you may know already, if you've seen me before my other channel, I'm somebody who's always going to be a realistic person. Never going to cut the corners and cut the BS. I'm going to say exactly how it is. But hey, like, subscribe, and let's get into this one.
Of course, me being the emotional eater that I am, my diet has gone to hell. But when Tammy left, I weighed about 500 pounds. Unfortunately, since she's left, I've been emotionally eating.
537.6.
Not only did I go up, I went up 37 pounds.
The thing that I didn't like about Caleb last season when Tammy met him was the way he appeared in their life. I didn't like that personally. It felt very suspicious, very suspect, you know what I mean? It felt like he had personally planted himself in her life, because he did say that he had found where she was and made sure that he was put in the same location as her, which was just creepy as hell. And then the whole concept where he was always sweet talking her and then eventually decided to propose to her. And for me personally, I never liked that, because in my eyes, I was like, well, he met Tammy at a stage where she was finally on the right path. She was going in the right direction. And luckily, she's able to continue in that direction. But I always felt like he was somebody that was prone to potentially bring her down or tie her down, purely because he had his own issues. Because prior to that, we already known that Caleb had failed to lose weight several freaking times. Okay, I believe that, to be fair, he was more severe than what Tammy ever had been as well. So for him to come into Tammy's life, knowing that he had never ever in his life ever had a piece of strength in him to try and do better for himself, keyword for himself, it was like, why would you then bring yourself into someone else's life? Why would you then marry somebody else who's finally found the strength, while meanwhile you haven't even started day one of even finding that strength just yet? Now, of course, after that, him and Tammy were obviously together for a minute, and of course he found a little bit of strength here and there, so he was obviously showing that he can put in a certain level of effort. But let's just put this into perspective, right? Tammy ended up losing literally over 100 pounds to be able to leave rehab, okay, and also to be able to have the trait taken out. Now, in that timeline, Tammy was working hard and getting all that things done. What was Caleb actually doing? Because the fact that Caleb was even at 500 pounds when she left, even that alone is concerning. But now he's obviously now put on an extra 33.7 pounds, right? And it is annoying, because I understand that he's somebody that was an emotional eater, completely get that. But just like myself, including other people at the time that was watching my content at the time, we all pretty much agreed that this man trying to propose and marry Tammy off, whilst he hasn't even got himself in a better place, was just a very selfish thing to do. And also, Tammy's biggest issue over the years with her weight loss was always being in relationships with the wrong men. Luckily, Caleb wasn't exactly the wrong man in terms of feeding her, but most certainly has kind of shown to be the wrong man in terms of having his priorities in the right place. I don't know. All I know is I'm just really annoyed, to be honest with you, because I feel like for us people who have seen Tammy for, 5 seasons now, and we've seen the journey, we've seen the struggle, and for her to end up marrying somebody who may have been the reason why she may have relapsed again, it just wasn't a really nice thing to watch. But either way though, this man, he said for time and time again that he loves Tammy, he wants to be with Tammy, Tammy's that woman for him, but for some reason he still couldn't find that push to lose the weight so they can be together. I am curious though if we will find out at some point throughout the season, exactly how Caleb ends up losing his life in terms of what they show us here. Obviously we know we was told, but what they show us on TV may be different. But either way though, let's continue with Caleb, and I'm going to say exactly how it is, but Caleb and his excuses.
If you can get to 500 pounds, I think we could look at surgery.
Caleb has gained weight since Tammy left.
You're probably going to need to keep the trach for a period of time after the surgery.
Caleb's probably going to need to go back to rehab afterwards for 6 months or even longer to work on getting the trach out, so eventually we can get him back to Tammy.
Crazy though, man. An extra 6 months as well. I don't know how Tammy did it, to be honest with you. Honestly, I give her massive credit, because she's already missing the guy. And to hear that, hey, he's gonna be 6 months, that's gonna sting. That's gonna sting. But Caleb, I said this before about him. I said this about him before in the last season. I said it again this season. Caleb is just somebody who's got the gift of the gab. He's a talker.
I want to get back to Tammy, but I can't go home if I still have the Drake. We've got plans. You want a family?
Ah, the good old family. Yes, he mentioned it last season, didn't he? Talking about how he wanted to have kids with Tammy, and we was all like, how? Don't get smart with that comment. I said, how? Come on now.
Talk with Dr. Smith.
Yeah.
He wants me to get down to 500.
Mm-hmm.
And he would feel comfortable doing the surgery. And was.
I just want to point this out. Here he says he wants me to get that to 500. I want to know, when he said he gained an extra 33, right? I want to know, how much did he weigh when Tammy left? You see what I'm saying? I'm confused about this point. I want to know how much, because at that point he said he wants me to get 500 pounds. So that means he must have weighed more than that even before Tammy left. So where did this whole concept come from about him gaining 33? He must have gained something else. He must have been over 500 pounds right before she left. I don't know, it's just the way he says it so casually, and she's like, Anyway, maybe it's one of the situations where she's like, okay, but just get to the point. Maybe that's the case. Maybe that's what it is, but hey ho.
537. And he's gonna have to stay in.
It sucks. I would and get his Drake removed. It bothers me that he's backsliding, but Caleb's very sensitive. Just, I feel like I have to be strong for him.
It's crazy because, you know, she talks about how sensitive he is, and also talks about how it's hard for her to even be rude with him because she knows how he's going to react. And now she has to be strong for him. Is it fair for Tammy to be with someone that she has to be strong for? Is it really fair? I mean, listen, at the end of the day in this life, everybody's different, right? And we all have our sensitive spots. You know, we all have our weaknesses. And all I'm saying is this: if you're going to be with somebody that has the history of Tammy or what Tammy has, I don't think Tammy should be in a position where she should be with somebody that she needs to feel like she needs to be stronger than them, personally. I feel like she needs to be someone who's going to be sensitive to herself, to be honest with you, to a certain degree. Because I feel like someone being sensitive to herself is somebody that could maybe help her stay on the right track for the long haul. You see what I'm saying? Because she's never had that. Apart from her sister, she's never been with somebody that's been sensitive to her. She's only ever been with people that's wanted to enable her. You know what I mean? Or in Caleb's situation, somebody that just wants to, I guess, ride her coattails or whatever you want to call it.
We knew this wasn't going to be. One thing I asked you to do was to promise that you weren't going to sit in your room all day long. You know, I wanted you to go hang out with the boys. And
I eat my freaking feelings. I don't want video games. I want my wife.
I ate my freaking feelings. I don't. Like I said, my Caleb's a talker.
about Caleb, I think he'll let depression set in before he hits rock bottom again. I feel guilty. Sad. I'm numb. Like, I don't know how to feel.
I guess maybe this season I've grown a soft spot for Tammy because I've really appreciated her growth. Even last season, I really appreciated her growth. Because I didn't have hope for her. You know what I mean? But now she's gained that hope, you know what I'm saying, that I have. Not like my hope for her matters, you know what I'm saying? But yeah. I just don't want someone to come in life and just basically ruin everything that she's worked hard for. Because let's not forget, as strong as Tammy has become, she's still a very vulnerable person. Someone could easily come in and mess the thing up for her. But hey, kudos to her on this one.
I'm being strong for Caleb, Amy, the kids. If I come right now, the whole world will go to hell. I'm
going to leave it as that. I'm going to leave it as there. Leave it as that. You guys let me know exactly what you're thinking down below in the comment section. Because as far as I'm concerned, I'm feeling for Tammy. You know? But at the same time, though, let's not get it twisted. I really did wish, because obviously he's not here anymore, that he did turn his life around. He did do better for himself, you know? And did do better for Tammy in their relationship. But I think that's the problem with Caleb. Caleb was never able to lose weight for himself. So the fact that he was trying to lose weight for his marriage, to be honest with you, was always going to be very unlikely, because realistically in this world, to be able to achieve anything, you predominantly have to do it for yourself. And I feel like this is one of those journeys for him. It had to be for himself. If he wanted to marry Tammy, he should have done it for himself so he can be with Tammy. If he wanted to have children with Tammy, he should have done it for himself so he could have children with her and then be able to play with them. Not, oh no, I'm doing it for Tammy, or I'm doing it because I want to travel and have kids. No. Because all of them things are just exterior reasons. There should have been internal reasons behind it. but he's never had an internal feeling. That's why he's probably an emotional eater. I think emotional eaters struggle with, you know, doing things for themselves, you know, and they worry too much about everybody else. I could be wrong on that one, but I am trying to be empathetic for him. But I just don't feel like the journey for him losing weight was ever realistic because of the way he was and the way he was introduced to us. It was made quite abundantly clear that it was always going to be a struggle for him. And if anything, it kind of made abundantly clear as if there was no hope, like legit. But I'm just happy that Tammy didn't follow him. I'm just happy that he didn't manage to derail Tammy. That's the main thing. But that proves that Tammy did everything that she could to lose weight for herself, because she finally got sick and tired of being in comas. Let me know what you're thinking, and we can talk about it. Peace.